Afternoon, everyone. I will now call the meeting to order. Madame la Greffière.
Your Worship, we are here for a special public meeting to hear one item. Please be advised that there will be a special public meeting of Moncton City Council in Council Chambers, City Hall, Moncton, New Brunswick, on June 9th, 2025 at 12:30 p.m. for the consideration of the following reports and recommendations. Actually, that is not right. It should be reports from administration, city contribution, NBDTI Mapleton Road interchange modification. And we do have an agenda before us.
Are there any changes to the agenda, Madame?
There is no changes to be permitted.
I need a mover and a seconder for the agenda. Councillor Edgett and Councillor Kingston. We'll do a show of hands. All those in favor, please raise your hands. So motion carried.
Okay.
Merci.
The item is going to be discussed by Renee Legacy, our Director of Engineering.
Do we have to ask for conflict of interest?
Oh, yes. Are there any conflict of interests?
No.
Merci.
Thank you. Bonjour, Renee.
Good afternoon, City Council. First of all, thank you very much for this special meeting. We're making a lot of people at DTI happy by making sure we do not delay this project, and that's why we call this special meeting. It was a bit tricky trying to time the NBDTI tender. They've postponed the tender more than once. So again, from our part and from DTI, thank you very much for this, for your additional time today. I'm wondering if we could pull up the map on the screen that was attached to the package. So as you'll see the map on in your package, and as you're probably already aware, oh, sorry.
Justin, do you have a map by any chance? Not yes, no? Okay, we do not have the map. You should be able to have it in your packages.
Okay, perfect. Well, we can definitely follow with that way. As you're certainly aware, because we did have some conversations related to development in this area, NBDTI is planning to do some major improvement works on the interchange of Mapleton Road at TCH. That will include a new roundabout on the north side of TCH and a signalized intersection on the south side. Some of the components that the city is responsible for, one is the sidewalk on Queensway Drive, which will be installed on the north side. And I think it's worth mentioning is that the hotel that has been built there for a few years actually contributed to that sidewalk. It was a developer contribution that was held, and that you'll see that in the package. So finally, we're in a position where we can install that sidewalk. We did wait because we knew that with this roundabout, it would shift the alignment of Queensway just a bit. So you'll see it on your drawing that Queensway does shift a bit to the north just to provide proper spacing from the roundabout. And one of the biggest component would be to install multi-purpose trails on each side of Mapleton through this property. I want to, I guess, what I'd like to say is that it's been difficult to work with DTI on active transportation file. There's some hesitation with having AT infrastructure on highway, sections of highway. And I think this is a big turn. This is a big win for us. Not only did we convince NBDTI to put active transportation infrastructure in their right-of-way, but we're actually convinced them to modify their bridge structure to do so. I wish I had brought in a picture, but if you can imagine the overpass on Mapleton at TCH, there are concrete columns, and then on each side of the bridge structure, just kind of a big concrete apron on a 45-degree angle. In order to put this AT infrastructure, DTI has agreed to cut into that concrete apron, put a retaining wall, and so the bike facilities will go between the concrete columns and the bridge abutment, which are in concrete. So again, a big modification to their overpass structure. We think this is going to pave the way for easing up the conversation, maybe in future projects where we need these AT infrastructure underneath highway bridge structures and through NBDTI project. So maybe not the first location we would have started with when we look at our AT plan and how we connect things. But again, we want to take opportunities when there are projects in the area, and DTI is building this area. And so we're definitely happy to partner with DTI for this connection, which would be a fraction of the cost if we were to do it on our own. That is it in a nutshell as far as my presentation goes and the highlights of this project. And I'm willing to take any questions you can.
Merci beaucoup, René. We have a recommendation. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Donc, I see all kinds of lights, so Conseiller Richard, Conseiller Adjut, do you wish to move and second? You move and second, right, Conseiller Richard and Adjut. Councillor Butler, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Rennie, when we built the roundabout back at the Horseman, we had built it a little too small, and then we had to go back and width it out, widen it out for larger trucks. So with this, is it going to be the right size? Like, have we gone there and figured out, like, because coming off of that Trans-Canada, going in there, there's a lot of tractor trailers, the double ones that are hooked. So are we saying that they're going to be able to go around that no problem at all, plowing and everything like that? It's not a problem?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Councillor Butler. So the design was done by NBDTI through their consultant, and obviously that was looked at. It will be in similar shape as the dog bone, if you can imagine the dog bone on Wheeler Boulevard and Dieppe Boulevard. So portion of that is actually double lane, and so the tractor trailers will be able to move around. So I think this is not new to NBDTI, and it's definitely part of the design consideration, given that it's a truck route. So we got to allow for mountable aprons for the trucks to go in. So that's been looked at for sure.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Conseiller Richard.
Merci, Mairesse Thériault. Merci pour la présentation. René, excuse me.
Thank you, René, for the presentation.
With Queensway and Mapleton, the pedestrian crossings. You understand where I'm talking about?
Yep. Okay.
Crossing Queensway and the street that's across the street from that. I see lines, but then in the roundabout, there's two spots where there's pedestrian crossings and there's painted marks, we call those hash marks, or?
Yep.
And I'm just wondering, what's going to be the type of control for pedestrians at those two locations at Queensway and across the street from Queensway?
Thank you for the question, Conseiller Richard. So at the roundabout itself, as you mentioned, there will be actually two places for pedestrians to cross, and those will be rapid flash. Okay. So the ones that, the beacons that flash. And I'm sorry, I don't have the answer for the one at Queensway. I'm not sure if it qualified or if it for a rapid flash, so I would have to go back to.
Because I don't see anything. All I see is like the two lines that marks a crosswalk basically from between streets, as we have everywhere in the city.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty confident the one at Queensway is a sign crosswalk, just your typical sign crosswalk without the rapid flash, and that definitely at the roundabout itself, because of the traffic there, it did justify the rapid flash. I don't believe we have the rapid flash justified at Queensway, but I can definitely get back to you on that one.
Okay, because I see the stop lines, there's no four-way stop. I don't see any traffic lights in the plans, so.
For Mapleton at Queensway, no, it's your typical stop control on Northwood and Queensway, and free flow traffic on Mapleton. And I do believe a sign crosswalk, but not a rapid flash. But
I'd like some information on that if you don't mind.
Sure.
And not because I noticed that at the other end, at the off ramp from the TC onto Mapleton, call that that'd be the south end of Mapleton. That's going to be controlled by lights. It's already in the plans.
Correct. Yes, the southern part of the intersection of Mapleton and the eastbound going towards Dieppe. That's going to be a signalized intersection, so there'll be ample opportunities for crossings there.
So if we can clarify the Queensway side, it'd be awesome.
I will. Thank
Merci
you.
beaucoup.
Merci, conseiller Richard, conseiller Bourgeois.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Maire. Merci, René. Une question pour toi.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I have a question, René, and another question for Jacques, or maybe two questions. We had a way of sharing the costs for the Visions lands to share with the developer, even if it wasn't their lands. We anticipate that we will build the roads and then afterwards we'll charge them. I think that's the way it works. Would that same system apply here for the work we're going to do to facilitate traffic, but we need to allow the Queensway or another extension to continue eastward? There'd probably be a development eventually along that eastward, along that subdivision, or perhaps westward as well. Are we going to charge them as well? Because I see 116,000 contribution from the hotel, but would other developers, are any other developers being asked to contribute to this project? Yes, thank you for your question. And as you've mentioned, when the hotel was built there, we said that there would be a sidewalk necessary, but it was premature at the time because there were other projects coming down the line. So we had what we call the developer's contribution. Yes, if there were any further development eastward, for example, along the Queensway, we would do the same thing. The development would be assessed and the impact on the infrastructure would be assessed. And if there is a contribution that is necessary, that's when we would identify it. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. My second question, Mr. Doucette, that 1,185,000. We have a couple of a number of sources of revenue already in our budget, and it's very difficult to follow all of that. Did we go to get pieces from here and there that were left over, or was it the amount that we had already earmarked for this project specifically? The W2508 active transportation account we had already $700,000 for this intersection. So I could go through the whole list, but I'll ask you the question, generally speaking, first of all. Thank you for the question, Councillor. Yes, the 700,000 that you see, that's the big part of this budget. That's the annual 1 million budget, the annual amount of $1 million for active transportation. So that's part of the 2025 budget. When we found out that the province was going to be working on this project, we attributed a part of this budget, a large part of this budget, to this project. So that's why we see it as something that has already been included in the budget. The other parts of it, well, there's the sidewalks that we've already mentioned. There are other components, but when we install a sidewalk on a road like Queensway, it's a rural road, so we have to redo the ditches, we have to put storm sewers in. So there are the costs we had planned for it, but the costs are going to be a little higher than we had expected, and that's why we're here today. And there are also budgets for the sanitary sewers. So when Mapleton, or when the province is going to redo Mapleton Road, there's going to be upgrades to the sanitary sewer necessary as well. So there'll be money left over from other budgets. It's not all of the money that was expected to be spent on this project, but it's the projects that were in the right silo. I mean, there was money for the sidewalk, there was money for the active transportation, and for the sanitary and the sewers and so on. Well, okay. Are you saying that there might be other projects that were to be expected to be paid for under the $700,000 would have to be paid for by something else because the province is going to, we're going to take this opportunity today? Are we going to have to find other funds for these other projects, or had we already planned on this had we planned on doing this 3 or 4 or 5 years in the future, but we're just bringing it forward? Or are we just distributing the capital budget differently to different phases? Or are we going to have to add another $700,000 in next year's budget to compensate for things that hadn't been expected? Well, no, this project had been thought of, envisaged some 5 years ago already, but for the last year and a half or 2 years, we were pretty confident that the province was going to go ahead with it, but we only found out recently that it's official. So we internally, we've already been working on this for over a year. We had said that this is going to be our big project for 2025 for active transportation. So it was part of our $1 million tax base. And then in 2026, we have other projects planned. So no, to answer your question, we're not asking for extra funding for active transportation, but you can ask the Active Transportation Coalition of Greater Moncton. They might have a different opinion of this, but that's not part of our discussion here. But yes, so this was identified for this specifically, and there were other projects planned for 2026, but it's not anything that's going to be delayed because of this. Okay, my last question. You said the estimate was a little higher than what we had expected, so we had to go get some funds from elsewhere. What is the amount that is over and above what we had estimated? Well, we thought it was going to be under $1 million, and that's why we had the $700,000, but there was $116,000, and there were other accounts in 2025 that we knew we could get some money from. So it's about 10% in total, 10% more than what we expected. Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Councillor Crossman.
Few points. This is a great project for the north end of Moncton. There's no question. What's our communication strategy going to be on this? And two, you did such a great presentation on the zipper lane that I really feel that we should be looking at doing something on traffic circles as well, publicly presented, to make sure that people understand how to use them correctly. So those would be my only two key concerns. But congratulations on a year, you say you've been at this. I know we've talked about it around this table for longer than that as well to alleviate the traffic in that area. So congratulations. But if you could just answer those two questions, that would be great. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Appreciate the question and the comments, Councillor Crossman. So on the communication piece, we'll definitely get our own team involved because it is an NBDTI-led project, but we want to make sure that we use the same, we work in the same vein, if you wish, kind of push the same message out. Because to the general public, this will look like another City of Moncton project. Doesn't matter if it's the province or the city. So after award, we'll get our communication team kind of working with NBDTI. It's interesting that you mentioned I guess a piece on roundabouts, because when I did one of the media interviews for the zipper lane or the zipper merge, the interviewer was like, well, I'm from France and people here don't seem to be able to or have difficulty managing roundabouts, so we should do a piece on roundabouts. And I said we could do a monthly traffic update if you wish, or so I'm all up for that. But yeah, I do appreciate the comment, and I think there definitely could be a lot more education when it comes to managing, how to manage certain intersections. Could it be four-way stops? Same thing there. I think there could be more education done on that. Roundabouts, how do we go through a construction zone, all of that, especially with the growth we're seeing, a lot of new drivers on our streets. We can definitely push more education. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup. Merci pour la question, Conseiller Crossman. Merci, René. Superbe projet.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your question, René, and thank you, Councillor Crossman.
Show of hands.
Nope.
Oui.
There you go.
Oh, no.
Okay. Could we close the vote?
So it's unanimous.
Merci.
Merci. Merci à tous.
We'll need to adjourn this meeting.
And we will adjourn the meeting. Conseiller Richard is moving. Do I need a vote? No, j'ai pas besoin of.
Just-
Show of hand, please.
We're
Everybody
good.
comfortable? Okay, c'est beau. Now we will
No.
reconvene to the
yes.
private session.
No, the media's gone. Justin, can we do the changeover again?